Big blunts, dope boys wanna smoke with me. Now we ride double M's through the whole city. Niggas talking down, but they always feel me. A 9-figure nigga, all I wanna talk is business. I seen a big mouth get a closed casket. Self-made, took over the whole racket. A kilo after kilo, see who moved the most. 200-foot yacht, she wanna see the coast.
Welcome back to Goofy Investing. What's going on YouTube? This is the channel, this is the underground where we talk about high growth stocks, mainly in the mid and small caps. Today we're going to be talking about Absi Corporation, ticker symbol ABSI. This is a biotech company, trades on the NASDAQ for $4.53 a share. Market cap is $677.34 million. We got a short interest of 22% currently. This company is headquartered in Vancouver, Washington, right, in the United States. So this is a biotech company, but what puts this out, what makes this company stand out against other biotech companies is they have a full stack generative AI empowered IP tech that actually finds the actual treatment. All right. They do have some drugs in clinical phases right now. The how do you say, the exciting one is hair loss. All right, I think hair loss is definitely a huge market. I think people eventually lose their hair, or they thin out, they become silver foxes, whatever. All right. This company is seeking to provide a solution to that problem. All right. And it can mean big bucks for investors if they get in for the right price at the right time. We're going to take a look at some financials here. We'll do a sniff check as usual on their balance sheet. 117.46 million in cash, 7.41 million in debt, and enterprise value is currently 567.29 million. Enterprise value is pretty much the market cap, subtracting the cash or adding the debt, and whatever the ledger balance comes down to. All right. Now we'll look at some profitability metrics. You notice there is none. All right. So right off the bat, I'm going to go to their actual income statement, and for all intents and purposes, they have some sales, but they're still pre-sales. All right. So there's that to consider. Next, I'm going to look at their cash burn. All right. Looks like they're burning a little over 100 million in cash year over year for the past 4 years. All right. And this year on the trailing is no different. We got $113 million loss there. Let's go down to the free cash flows. Free cash flows are negative. So this is an indicator of high cost of goods or high cost of sales, which we're seeing right here. SG&A kind of going down. So depreciation and amortization is happening. Operating income is negative 116 million. All right. So let's look at balance sheet analysis. They had in 2021, they had $250 million in cash. Year over year, we've seen declines down to 117 million to date. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean too much with these biotech companies. There's a lot of cost of revenue that comes in. There's a lot of R&D expense and so forth. Their business model with their full tech stack is to find the cure, find the treatment, what have you, and license out the formula of ingredients to these actual big pharma techs. All right. Your Merck, your Pfizer, and so forth, Moderna, whatever. Okay. And they eat off royalties of licensing deals based on these IPs. And after these drugs go through preclinical and they go through the clinicals and they're released out, all right, these big biotechs, big pharma, if you will, they'll take the ingredients and mass manufacture the treatments and send it out, and then the doctors prescribe it out and so forth. All right, can mean high margins. And once again, looking through, all right, I like that. What I like about this, let's talk about what I like about it and what I don't like about the business model. Hair loss is a wide TAM, men and women, what have you. All right. Of course, they go through these clinicals. They'll start with rats and then they'll move up to human beings. Low risk to an extent when it comes to the clinicals because we're just dealing with hair loss. What's the worst that can happen? Usually, when you get a drug that's put out there onto the market, you ever see these drug commercials where drug side effects are like you know cancer, death, all this different crazy stuff. Honestly, with hair loss, I can't imagine side effects being crazy. All right. What's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work and you don't grow your hair back. Okay. So there's that to consider. Now there are different drugs in there, but the one we're going to be focusing on is hair loss. And I think that their business model using generative AI, I assess there's a lot of risk in that. All right. I am an AI investor. I own companies that, delve into traditional AI. But generative AI is an artificial intelligence that generates the solution, while traditional AI is historical database times 100 or times 1,000. All right. And you'll have a large language model that is feeling based off that database. While generative AI, you have a large language model that is thinking and coming up with solutions. So if they have an IP tech stack, a full tech stack uh, that has a generative AI property, I mean, if my experience with generative AI right now in 2025, where we're at the end of the year, is generative AI is not really up to snuff yet. The technology of that generative AI is hit or miss in a lot of circumstances. And I can't really speak too much to biotech because I'm not a biotech scientist and I don't know the inner workings of their full tech stack. That would require more extensive research, and I would have to know something about drug creation, which I typically don't. All right. So I'm going to have to keep this from a high growth investor's perspective. All right. And with that, let's look at their earnings consensus estimates. Right now, they're set to not be profitable on a non-GAAP basis until 2023. That's about 7 to 8 years out. Going from the pre-revenue or basic sales launch, we're looking 10 years out, or no, 8 years out to be 269.94 million. We have 8 analysts on the top side, 8 on the bottom. They're probably the same analysts. We'll go to their earnings call, which I've listened to, and you look at, and what do you know? You see all these conference call participants. These are the actual, a portion of them are the actual analysts coming from financial institutions. What do you know? All right. Looking at ownership, all right, 6.25% own insider ownership. I'd like to see a little bit more, to tell you the truth. Not too much. Maybe 10% would be more promising. Insider activity, we got insiders buying here at the mid $2, higher $2 range. We saw some insiders, an officer and a director buy, which is an indicator of undervaluation. And what do you know? We'll go to the stock chart. Stock is actually went up from last month. It's pretty much almost doubled here. Okay. With their cash burn and need to raise more capital, and their revolving credit line that they have right now going out to fill orders, and with more projected cash burn, I can expect this equity to go down back to the mid twos. All right. When I'm looking at pre-revenue companies, typically I'm asking the question, okay, are you going to be able to revenue your market cap at the time of purchase within 5 years? Okay. So if I'm purchasing this at 677 million and 5 years out, the company is set to do 100 million, that's a 6 times sales multiple premium going 5 years out. I don't know if that's worth 6 times. If they can cure, how do you say, hair loss with this treatment, you know, I think maybe the company's worth a couple billion right now. I don't know. It just all depends on how clinicals pan out. If they land partnerships with Pfizer and Moderna, whoever, okay, if they land a big partnership, stock can the market can automatically start pricing in the promise of potential earnings back into the equity. All right. So high risk, high reward stuff. Now, my interpretation of biotech companies in the small cap arena, a lot of them are hit or miss. In fact, most of them are probably misses, guys. All right, so you got to take that under consideration. Once again, I reiterate, the standing outlier with this company that really impresses me is they have a full tech stack of generative AI to create the drug solutions. So what does that mean? It means that they can get bought out for their tech. All right. But that's yet to be seen. I don't see much in the terms of a buyout at this point in time. You know, my interpretation of stock price action going forward. I think stock bleeds back down to $2.50. I think it happens, and I think that right there, given their market cap, where they're at in preclinical stages, and having 100 million cash right there on the balance sheet, at a $2.50 valuation, you're looking at maybe 300 million market cap and maybe a 200 million enterprise value. Maybe you give credit to the full tech stack and if these earnings are accurate and they do 100 million in sales in 5 years, you're looking at enterprise value of 2 times sales forward out to the 5 year mark. I think that's probably where the sweet spot is, to tell you the truth. Also, it's confirmation and where the actual insiders are actually buying this equity here, on where you see these direct buys at the mid twos. All right. So even seeing a buy here from an officer at the $3 mark. So all in all, me personally, I'm not interested in this company. There is one biotech company that I am looking at and following, and that's actually Viking Therapeutics. All right, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'll enter a position in Viking. It's just one of the companies that I'm interested in the actual sector. I hope you guys got value. Quick plug, check out the Patreon. If you want more advanced analysis, you want to keep up with my latest and greatest, get a community of like-minded investors. I got deep dives. I teach you how to do price targeting. I teach you how to value tech and IP. You get more direct access to me, and so forth. And you get a priority optionality of video analysis like this one. All right. And one of my Patreon investors requested. All right. $10 a month. I got a free trial running, a free 7-day trial running. You go on there, check it out. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe at the last second. It is what it is. All right. But $10 a month, honestly, you really can't beat it for the amount of value I put on there and the community interaction and group of investors on there that you're going to be a part of. I think it's an important thing for a high growth investor to have a crew that you can grow with and so forth. All right. And bounce things off of. But with that being said, if you got value out of the video, like and subscribe, comment down below, say I'm subscribed. I will comment back. And thumbs up. It helps me out. You'll be helping the little guy out as well. With that being said, I love y'all and take it easy.